An ex-Houston police officer has been found guilty of murder after two people were shot and killed during a botched drug raid. Gerald Goins was convicted of killing Dennis Tuttle and Regina Nicholas back in 2019. During a raid at their home, 4 HPD officers, including Goins, were shot and wounded after bursting inside. Officers returned fire, killing the couple and their dog. Goins was also convicted of tampering with a government document because prosecutors say he lied to get the no-knock warrant that portrayed the couple as dangerous heroin dealers.
All right. Peace and blessings. Peace and blessings. All praises to the Most High. A black Houston police officer. This case you saw him, Gerald Goins, was just convicted of murder after this couple right here, Dennis Tuttle and his wife, somebody Nicholas, shot at him and other officers while they came to serve one of the notorious no-knock warrants. And these people, these drug addicts, shot 4 police officers, who in turn the officers killed them. Yet and still, this black officer has been charged and convicted with murder, and I think they gave him 40 years. Now, this is on the wake where they just gave the officer, one of the officers, that the only one they charged with wanton endangerment for killing Breonna Taylor, they just gave him 1 day in jail after it was proven that their no-knock warrant was false. They had the wrong address and they should not have been there. Yet and still, neither of those officers, of those 3 officers, were even charged with her death. And the one that was charged with shooting a bullet into the neighbor's house only got 1 day. Now, let me tell you about this story, man. Once again, this is Gerald Goins. He's a 40-year decorated police officer of the Houston Police Department. Now, this happened in 2018. He is just recently being convicted. Now, what happened? So, this couple right here, and you can look at them and tell they are drug users, right? This couple stayed at a house in Houston, and the officer, he was part of the narcotics agency. He actually was shot one time buying narcotics and what they call a controlled buy, where you buy, D-drugs from a dealer. So he was heavy into the narcotics arena. So this lady, which is a neighbor, her name is somebody Garcia. This lady made a call one day. Now, this lady had a feud with this couple right here. This lady had a feud with them, probably because they was often using D-drugs. If anybody stayed by somebody who used D-drugs, they have a lot of traffic. They got a lot going on. So this neighbor called the police one day on January the 8th. They said, look, my daughter is over there, and she's over there with them using heroin, that stuff that make you nod off, right? And so it was on that basis that Mr. Goins, the police officer, obtained a warrant 3 weeks later. Now, he went off that information. They also are saying that he lied. He said that another informant brought controlled substance from that residence. He said, he falsified that no-knock warrant. Now, once again, that is wrong. But we have seen numerous cases where police go in residences and they don't have the proper paperwork or whatever the case may be. And, they are not vilified like this man. Nevertheless, they went into the raid, right? They went into the raid, and it is reported that Dennis Tuttle, the white man here, heard them coming in, and he was armed with a revolver. He was armed with the revolver. He goes to letting off shots. They said the woman didn't shoot, but it was alleged that she reached for a firearm of one of the wounded deputies that her husband had already shot. So this white man is in there shooting at police. Once again, it's a no not warrant that never should have been had, according to the people. Nevertheless, Goins gets shot. This officer gets shot now. This officer gets shot, and 4 more police officers get shot by this D-Rug addict couple. And in return, the officers return fire, killing this D-Rug infused couple. Now, the investigation showed. And I'm going to read from this document. The investigating shows reportedly 18 grams of marijuana and 1.5 grams of cocaine was found in the house. Now, they said this is user amounts, but not distributor levels. Nevertheless, there were D-Rugs found in the house, and they were consistent with the toxicology findings, meaning they said that the toxicology found in the man, Dennis Tuttle, was found to have THC in his system. Now, this is how they're going to try to protect the whiteness. They also say the toxicology reports later found benzoyletogonine, a byproduct associated with metabolism of cocaine, but there were no traces of cocaine in her system. Basically, she had something that resembled cocaine, but it wasn't in the system. Basically, this toxicology report confirms that these people were D-Rug users. Now, they also say that Dennis Tuttle never fired at police. However, it says there is possible gunpowder residue that was noted next to his left index finger. Now, once again, the prosecutors are saying that he never fired, despite 357 Magnum shell casings that were found in the apartment. And so now you have these 2 people with D-Rugs in their system. The man has gunpowder residue on his hands, yet and still the prosecutors are doing everything in their power to take the responsibility off of them for firing at officers, whether the warrant was good or not. Isn't it already established that no matter what, you always comply and you never fire at officers, even when they are wrong, right? This gentleman fired at officers, hit 4 of them, including Goins, paralyzed 1 of them, and then the only thing that they are focusing on is the fact that this black cop falsified information to get the warrant. Make this make sense, right? If this was a black couple shooting at police, and the officer who lied to get the information was a white cop who survived and got shot and survived, he would be heralded, given the Congressional Medal of Honor, the Purple Heart of Law Enforcement, all of these things. Yet and still, this black man and all of the other officers are being charged because of the information to get the warrant wasn't altogether correct. Nevertheless, you still found D-Rugs in the house and in their system. Just take a listen to this other article and how they once again focus on the black officer who got the warrant and who went in and got people who were selling, using, and possessing D-Rugs, how he falsified the warrant, but they never are talking about the fact that these people who are now deceased shot at 5 police officers. Listen to once again how they are changing the narrative and moving the goalposts.
Yeah, multiple officers shot.
It was a stunning shootout during an apparent drug raid that left 2 suspects dead and 5 officers injured. But tonight, there are troubling questions about how it all started.
There's a lot of pissed off cops right now. There are a lot of angry cops.
A new police affidavit reveals investigators haven't been able to find any confidential informants whose tips had supposedly led to the raid. None of the informants have identified the couple that was killed in the shootout as drug dealers. One informant says he did buy heroin, but at a house 5 miles away.
That's totally unacceptable.
Houston Police Chief Art Acevedo now says it appears an undercover officer involved lied and will likely face charges.
But what this sounds like is the officer believed there was activity there, did not have probable cause, did not want to work to get probable cause, so he manufactured the probable cause by creating a false buy from an informant that didn't exist and lied to the court to get the warrant. It's outrageous criminal conduct.
Tonight, police are investigating whether what was thought to be a heroic shootout was really a botched raid. Gabe Gutierrez, NBC News.
And so there you see them once again saying, okay, well, he had the evidence. He knew there was D-Rugs there, but he went and did lazy work. He falsified evidence. But not once are they saying the brutality, the unlawfulness, the outlaw nature of these two D-Rug addicts shooting at police. And all throughout my man's trial, they continue to say, the guy didn't fire first. He only fired after the officers came and he heard his wife screaming and the officers fired first. And it wouldn't have been none of this if the warrant was correct and, they would have announced themselves. All of those things to take away from the fact that these two white D-Rug addicts fired at police, hitting 4 officers, paralyzing one. And because, once again, this officer, once again, filed some paperwork to get known D-Rug users. Now, once again, anybody can look at these people and see drug use in the photos. If you can't, then I don't know where you've been. You've never been, in the underworld, as we say. So this is definite because D-Rugs were found in both of them systems. Gunpowder was found on the man's, finger. Yet and still, they convict the officer for heroically defending and protecting the 4 officers that were hit. Y'all can't make this up. That's why I said there's a double standard, even when it comes to this. There has been no one praising any black person for shooting at police when they didn't have the proper warrant. As you remember, Breonna Taylor's boyfriend shot back at the police and they littered the house with bullets. They did not charge not one officer for killing her, even though their no warrant was falsified as well. Make it make sense. What's good for the goose is not good for the gander. I hope all you black officers take heed to this, because this is an example of when it's black officer and white life is taken, you're going to jail. That is the discrepancy. When a black officer takes a white life, they go to jail. When a white officer takes a black life, they get paid vacation. They're not scrutinized. They're even promoted. And so this is one of those examples where that court system, they're going to go against the thin blue line to say, well, no, you can't treat these white people like this, even though they were D-Rug addicts, even though they shot at the police. It's your fault because you didn't get the proper warrant notified. You used what the neighbor said. Once again, the neighbor said, that her daughter was over there. Now they claim that she had lied. I don't even know, but evidently she knew something was going on over there, and it's evident in the D-Rugs in their system. But I just found out about this case. This happened in Texas in 2019. Just last year, 2024, our dear brother, and once again, this should serve as a lesson. You can't get away with the dirt like they do. Has been convicted, and they're talking about all types of corruption and scandal. there was no scandal. He just did what a lot of white police officers do. They use their, what they call it, reasonable suspicion, articulable suspicion. They use their hunches to go and pull and stop and raid black people every day. And they are not convicted of anything, especially when it goes awry. But here you have a white couple who shot back at police, had D-Rugs in the home and in their system, and they are the victims after shooting 5 police officers. Y'all let me know what y'all think about this story in the comments. Y'all see the number 919-587-7782. Thank y'all for watching, liking, sharing, and subscribing to the channel. And as always, peace and blessings.